Ball dunks.
Look at Strong running the floor out in front.
What in the blue hell was that? UConn 103, PC 98. The Huskies somehow, some way, come all the way back down from a preposterous deficit. A whopping 3.2 chance of winning, by the way, when the Friars were up there under 5. Come all the way back and win in overtime. Got to say, probably a breakout game for Braylon Mullins tonight. Silas Demary Jr. With just an old-ass man performance tonight. Alex Caravan kind of bringing up the rear with 23. But, dude, I don't even really know where to start with this game. The Hurley Mania. This was we've seen some games the last couple of years. I don't know. Where do you even want to start with this?
Just another night where they give us nothing to talk about. It's a great question. As great as the win is and as amazing it is, we'll be objective. I mean, let's start with the beginning. That the first half is unacceptable, especially coming off of Sunday. In a game like this against the team that's coming off of a big win, this is their big home game of the year, right? And this is their big shot, and they've given UConn hell in that building forever. And you know that it's about intensity and emotion, and to be that just unengaged for 20 minutes defensively was really disappointing, and it looked like last year. It was really unacceptable. They were fortunate not to be down 25 at the half. Really, a bizarre first half where everybody was hitting everything from 3 and nothing inside the paint on the UConn side of things. And I guess that's where we can zone in first on. And it was led by Terrace, whose first half was just terrible.
Abominable.
It was really bad.
Abominable. It was radioactive nuclear goo.
And the reason why
term of the night.
The reason why this was a scary matchup beyond just the history and stuff and the Providence coming off the big win is that this Providence roster hasn't performed, but the roster is built. They have a lot of big dudes, big wings, but in Oswin, they have a guy who physically is built very similar to Terrace. He's not as cut, not as muscular, but he can go in there and bang inside with Terrace and just go body to body with him. And he was doing it for all first half, and Oswin was just killing him in the first half. Oswin alone in the first half, that was when he had all of his impact. He had six points and 4 rebounds in the first half, which was for the game. For the rest of the game, he only had 3 rebounds and 2 points because he got into foul trouble. And he got into foul trouble because in the second half, hot balls, Terrace Reed did the full Hulk Hogan 1987 set. He hulked up at halftime. And in the second half, Terrace looked like a different player.
Yeah, I mean, I thought a lot of them looked like different players in the second half, but I think absolutely their worst half of the season. I don't even know if they've played a half that comes close to that first half. That was, I don't really have words to say. I tweeted this out earlier that Dan Hurley teams, the one thing I really do appreciate about them is when they do melt down, there's not something goes wrong here and a little, oops, if we just did a little bit more over there. The whole thing just melts in real time. Dan melts in real time. The defense looks like shit. Can't throw basic passes. Everybody goes to shit. And it was really just a matter, for breaking down, the first half of just finding out what the shiniest turd in the toilet bowl was. And, clearly all year, they've had rough starts offensively, and they've been fine, but they haven't looked great offensively, with the exception of maybe that early in the first half against Xavier this year, and probably UMass Lowell game, which is whatever. They haven't looked like a steamroller yet offensively, and they've had some rough games. The defense has always been there to carry the day, and when it gets a little cold, they're able to kind of ratchet it up, shut the water off. a little bit and scratch and claw their way back into games. The first half, they look like matadors out there. And look, I'm, gonna probably would say this is my first critical moment of Dan all year. I don't know how many times Providence ran that high screen outside the 3-point line, and we bid on it probably 10 times, 11 times, maybe more, because they ran the same play close to 15 times. And the most basic plays, it's not like somebody slipping in a screen in our offense or, a lot of fancy off-ball movement, just a simple screen. And us just not rotating and biting on double team and giving them wide open looks for threes, which, we can say what we want to say about that roster. They can score it. So, just an abysmal first half. I mean, they're getting out toughed on rebounds. They were sped up, really taking shots a lot earlier in the shot clock than I've seen them do all year. A lot of like 1-2 passes, chuck a bad shot, a lot of floaters in the lane. But surprisingly in the first half, it was almost kind of like watching the upside down, right? Like from what we've seen all year where, the defense has been really good. Rim finishing's pretty good. We're good at getting in the lane. We just really struggled from three. And tonight, the first half, we were pretty good from three and could not score at the rim. I don't know what the numbers were. I know it was like 1 for 10 at one point.
It was 1 for 7 on layups at halftime.
1 for 7. That's what it was. Okay. So, so 1 for 7 on layups. And they couldn't defend their own shadow. So, go down in the locker room 10 and, Dan goes and has his first meltdown, of the year and gets technical, to open up the second half with. So, I mean, we talk about this all the time. We say this every single episode. They're going to have a meltdown game at some point, like every single team in the country has. Every great team we've ever had has had a meltdown game. This is a program that lost to Seton Hall 2 years ago with a generational killing machine and managed to get our starting center hurt and watched Cam Spencer kick balls off a scoring table. It happens. It's going to happen. And it really felt like that in the first half where there was just so much going wrong in so many different directions that, I know people don't like to hear this, but there's just some nights with college basketball players where you just sort of throw your hands up in the air and go, well, it's going to be one of those nights. But it was not one of those nights.
Shockingly, it was not. The player who probably was the best UConn player, the only one who could kind of feel pride in his first half was Silas. Excuse me. Silas had 7 assists at the half, and was one of many Huskies who had joined in on the 3 party. The one thing they did well in the first half was shoot threes. They hit 9 threes in the first half. They gave up 7 at the other end. It was crazy. The 3-point shooting, only countered by how terrible UConn's finishing was inside. They looked soft. They were getting out muscled, out tough. The intensity level was all on Providence's side. And it's upsetting because none of this shit should be a surprise. And I know the coaching staff knows that. They drilled into them what it was going to be like, but they're 18 to 22-year-old guys and sometimes shit happens. And so they take a huge body blow at the halftime and Dan gets the tee at the half and it can't happen because it's not even a fire them up technical foul. It's
right.
They're in the locker room. They're coming out. So Providence gets 3 points right out of half. So it's really a 13-point deficit at the half before UConn touches the ball to start the second half. And they chip away at it. They get it down to 5 at one point, but a couple times they made the push, heads would kind of disconnect. Silas is going nuts. Braylon is hitting threes from all over the place. Alex is getting better. Terrace has arrived. A couple of big things happen. One of them is that Jones knocks his shoulder out again, which was huge in the flow of the game. He was having a great game, and then he comes out, and Oswin getting into foul trouble. And those two things, without Jones or Oswin in there, it was just whatever Terrace wanted to do inside now that he was participating. So that really changed the game. But at the end of all that, you're down 11 with 3 to go. And Providence, part of it is in the first half, they really sped UConn up. Providence is a tempo team. the game was played on their pace. It was played in a high tempo. Providence was putting a press on UConn. It wasn't an intense press, but it was making UConn have to freaking engage the length of the court. And Providence threw in a kind of different one. They went to a 2-on-2 late in the second half. UConn didn't, I think they turned it over twice out of the press, but it was still a sign of the intensity that Providence was bringing. UConn wasn't ready for in the first half. And in the second half, they make a couple of runs, but when Silas goes out, Malachi comes in, the deficit grows again. Malachi had another, I thought, really rough night. He ended up only in the second half. I'm pulling up the box here. He only played 1 minute in the second half. And the minute he came in, I think the lead went from like 6 back to 11. So, yeah, to go back to Silas again. But at the end of all that, with 3 minutes to go, you're down 11 points, right, on the road at Providence. Ryan Mela hits this amazing coast-to-coast behind-the-back layup to make it an 11-point game, and you think the party's over. But it isn't. It isn't. The party may be over, but the circus.
Just getting started.
The party was over and the circus had begun. Because UConn then hits threes. They put on a full-court press, which doesn't really generate doesn't generate turnovers, but UConn sped the game up again in a situation where UConn at the end of the game needed to speed the game up. They needed to be more possessions, and Providence played right into it. They weren't really running clock, and the game's bleeding away. There was a close looking, like out of bounds call where I'm shocked Kim didn't challenge it. Even if you would have lost the challenge, when your team is taking a standing 8 count collapse, and this Providence team has imploded down the stretch in 3 or 4 of their 7 losses. They have done not quite this bad, but they have done shit like this.
Right.
This Providence team has this in them. And for Kim not to take the challenge, and worst thing, you lose the timeout, you need your guys to come out of the fog. And also there was a close one in overtime. I was shocked he didn't do the challenge just to try, and you just gotta hope that they come out of it. And the more that game was just allowed to keep going the way it was, the better UConn's chances were. And then the last minute is insane. It features Duncan Powell, who this year was 3 for 21 from 3, hitting the third of his 3 consecutive threes he hit after halftime.
Dude, what is going on with the haircut?
The whole thing. Listen,
Eric Cooley thing.
Providence, we've said, has a long list of some spectacular looking humans playing for that team, but Duncan Powell is the Hall of Famer. That dude, I'm an ugly man, but holy shit, like that. But he had a great night, and he was hitting threes, great energy guy, and so he and Alex Caravan are trading threes. If I told you at 6:45 p.m. that the last minute of this game would feature Duncan Powell and Alex Caravan trading threes, and then they get the stop late, and I thought Silas was going to win it from 65 feet because it would have been the 14th weirdest thing to happen in the previous 2.5 minutes. But I'm not kidding with the tweet. I would have died right there, right in my living room. That would have been it. Doesn't go down. They get the big stop and they go to OT. They get the 4-point lead early. Then Providence, comes back and they pull it away. But man, it's just Braylon Mullins and Caravan. Alex was really great the last 5 minutes of the game, and OT was nails. And nobody enjoyed that win more than he did with the way he was reacting at the buzzer, which was great. He was, I never have to come back here again. They're not hosting the NCAA tournament. I'm going to tell these people to fuck off and never come back. So good for you, Alex. You earned it. Yeah, just sensational stuff from Alex. Braylon, another coming out party. But Silas, the first Big East player since 2017 to post 23 and 15 in a game. Just incredible. And as many issues as there are with these last 2 games, Silas is starting to really break out, I think, offensively. And that's a positive to take from tonight. Just an all-time win in that building, 103-98. I don't even know where to go. That's insane. They won that game.
3.2% chance of winning that game down the stretch. 3.2.
Feels high. Once they got it to OT, I felt good, but yeah, it was
7.8% chance of winning that game for Providence. 97.8.
Yeah, and I really like him personally. He's a very nice guy. He's been kind to me personally, but like Kim really had a rough one. The way they managed the last 40 seconds of OT made no sense. Then Silas just gets literally the coup de grace with the pull up fade.
Them not knowing who to foul in the last minute was crazy.
And deciding the answer was nobody. That's the crazy part. Just pick someone.
Somebody, anybody. What are we doing?
Also, Terrace not picking up the fifth was amazing. They attacked Terrace. I want to give Terrace credit. When he got the 4, the rest of the game, the way he played, he was really aware of the 4 fouls thing because it was a very quiet night for Eric Ryba. He's a freshman. He had a freshman night. And, so he knew he had to be in there. So great job by Terrace. His game is insane tonight. His second half in OT was good as the first half was bad. I don't know what was going on, but we got there. We crossed the finish line on fire and upside down, but we were the first car over the line. So UConn improves to 15-1.
The whopping 3 bench points tonight too, by the way. We got out.
That was huge.
We outscored 41-3. The Providence bench outscored us tonight.
By the way, huge in the whole comeback, Jalen Stewart, who did not have a great night, got lost a lot. I'll have to check the box for fouls committed. I feel like he committed a lot of the fouls inside that were really sloppy, but hit a huge 3 in the comeback, and those are the 3 bench points they got tonight.
The
total.
Stewie had 1 foul tonight.
Oh, okay. So I apologize. I felt like he got burned on. We saw a lot. A lot happen.
There was a lot of sloppy handsy fouls.
A lot of sloppy things. He was moving guys off to assignments that didn't make sense. Oh, the one in the first half, by the way, when UConn was all out of sorts offensively inside the arc where Jalen tried to turn a 5-footer into let me fire this to Terrace for a 3-footer. That might have been the nadir of the first half. But give Stewie credit, man. He was there mentally. He played a huge role defensively to get the game back and hit a huge 3 like that. To get the OT, everything, all the weird shit that happened, all of it has to happen. You have to line all of the chambers up to pull that off. And he lined up 3 of the big ones. He may have even had the strip at the end that allowed Silas to get the heave. I'd have to check again. It was in the paint. It was great interior defense to not foul. And just a wild, insane basketball game, I think. And I'm glad we're doing the space because, like, normally when I do these, I love doing them. But a very small part of me is like, I'm not getting a lot of sleep tonight. I would be awake until 3 a.m. if I didn't do this show. So I'd rather do it here with you guys and share what that was.
Yeah, that's just bonkers. This is like
totally
one of the craziest basketball games I can remember in a long time. We saw the world tonight. Look,
the good and the bad.
We saw God, right?
And he smiled. Or she.
Like I have a couple of drinks and go home when you can drink an entire 30 rounds.
Yeah,
it's God.
The whole thing was the John Boyce famous tweet about playoff hockey overtime.
Yeah.
Why? When you could just snort cocaine and jump out of a helicopter. That's what playoff overtime hockey is. That's what tonight was. The last 3 minutes, especially the last minute, the whole last minute was like, there shouldn't be that many possessions in a game that's like that. But, we came out on the right side of it. Thank God, because, that's going to be a fun tape to break down ahead of DePaul on Saturday. There's a lot they got to clean up. There is a lot. But,
yeah. I mean, a lot.
But like, I'm going to enjoy the shot of this. Like, I'm a big metrics guy. I don't care that tonight was bad for the metrics. Can we enjoy that? It's not the best win under Dan Hurley. They've won 2 national championships. That's like the most fun win though, because then he said a post game, they either beat people by like 30 or lose. They don't do this a lot. And they don't do tonight. The closest was the you better get us now game. They almost did it, but they didn't. The Xavier game in Charleston, which went to OT, but they didn't win it. I can't think of a just batshit crazy
Xavier game in 2023 where Andre Jackson decided that he thought he was Steph Curry for the first 6 minutes of the game, and we almost came all the way back and didn't. But usually, like, I haven't seen them play this bad and put it back together probably ever in the Hurley era. I'm trying to think of another game where.
Yeah, my halftime tweet was actually hope. Literally, it was like Terrace. I mean, at the half, I was optimistic. The only optimism was like Terrace can't play that bad for a whole game. He was so bad. And then the shit regressed completely the other way. And he was huge in the second half. Against a Providence team that, man, they've recruited really well the last 2 years. That's a really talented roster. It's a really well built roster. It's just, man, they have gacked some up here. And, it makes what they did on Saturday funnier, I guess. Cause they did it the other way to St. John's.
Yeah.
Who is no longer ranked, in case you didn't hear that.
No, they aren't. Preseason number 1 team in America.
According to some. But,
Of you.
I mean, Duncan Powell going off. I'm still trying to wrap my head around. By the way, Corey Floyd Jr. having by far his best game against UConn. Like, he was great tonight for them. He was really good. Vax actually had a rough night. Vax is the guy I thought they would be worried about. Brian Mella had a really strong night. Jones is great. Like, they've got really good young building blocks, and they're just, if you want to make the defense, they're young and they're not ready to win a game like this, but like they were probably ready to win the Virginia Tech game, which they didn't. So they've got the roster to be competitive in the top half of this. I like them. I thought they were the 4th best team in the league coming into the year. That hasn't happened yet, but the bottom half of the league is so bad they might finish 4th. It wouldn't surprise me with the talent they've had and what they've shown the last 5 days after a 2-week break to do that. So whatever they did in that 2 weeks, it's working. Tonight's a sickener for them, and that's why we love it. But, yeah, I'm going to be very interested to watch them going forward because they've put together back-to-back performances against the 2 best teams in the league that would make you think they could be a factor in the league. They're not going to get in that large bid, but, UConn, a lot to clean up ahead of Saturday, but just, I'm hopeful we can sleep by then. The bench, getting 41, outscored 41-3 on the bench is hilarious. Points in the paint, they evened up.
Malachi Smith with 4 minutes tonight.
Not ideal. In the first half, UConn got outscored by 8 in the paint in the first half. So for the rest of the game, UConn went +8. So they got completely punked on the inside in the first half, and we're only in the game because of the threes. So yeah, that must have been a hell of a halftime, for Dan on several levels, but, message received for the officials as well. By the way, they weren't down at the half because the refs, that's part of why I didn't like it. Your team not having intensity and getting punked isn't because the refs called a couple of shooting fouls, but comes with, Dan didn't do it with 2 minutes to go. So this is improvement. And, Andrea's having a good time on Instagram with it. That's a very funny post if you haven't seen it.
Our favorite college basketball team.
Yeah.
Providence College Friars.
Just 3 Huskies play 41 minutes, by the way. Braylon Moan's playing 41 minutes. He was sensational. Just fearless. So many great young players in this game. For the future, Braylon's future in the Big East is about 2.5 months, but, yeah, wow. But they're gonna need to clean a lot of it up, and it really, a lot of it starts with Malachi Smith, because, if we get this Silas going forward, it's great, but they need Malachi to be serviceable, and this has been a few games now, so.
Yeah, I've had my fill of lackluster Malachi performances. They gotta get that, and it can
turn. This is a little bit of the book on him too. This is kind of in his previous stops. He hits these lulls in the middle of the season, and he pulls out of them. So you got to hope that with a great coaching staff, they can get him out of it. And they're going to need to. But 103-98. We should bring other folks in. I can't talk about this game anymore. I'm going to collapse.
Yeah, it's time to let the wieners whine. Hot dog, the UConn Husky season is here. The good folks at Martin Roll Souls are here to help you keep you fueled so you can keep foot on gas throughout the year. Hot dogs, kielbasa's, sausages, deli meats. You name it. Not only can you grab what you need for the big game at their retail store at 45 Grove Street in New Britain, they'll even bring the meats to you and ship them across the country. That's Martin Roll Souls, the official sponsor of the Connecticut Basketball Spaces Wiener Whiner line. Now, folks, it is time to get to the meat of tonight's show. And by that, we mean the Martin Roll Souls Wiener Whiner line. We'll be taking calls and check-ins here for the next hour or 10. I don't know how long it takes us to process this nonsense. For everybody in the queue, just hang tight. I'm just bringing in a few at a time. Don't freak out. I am going to get to you.
By the way, the biggest winner of the night was me when that pregame injury report said the whole team was healthy. Not just because the whole team was healthy, but because it meant I didn't give anyone the flu.
A lot of people had some hot takes about how they thought tonight's game was going to go down. That might have been wrong, but that's okay. One of the people that is not wrong, or at least he seems to think so, is no escalators. So what were your takes on tonight's game?
Well, I'm going to start with the most amusing thing I saw, and it came from Dan Madigan, who picked it up, which is that they're on Twitter 4 days ago, an account posted a clip of a several D2 games played by Northern Michigan, running what's called a flex action, which went viral. It's got like a ton of likes and views. And it wasn't invented by this team, as Pendants in the reply to that post like to point out. But it's the first time I had seen UConn run it. I'm not like an amazing film watcher, so maybe they've had it in the arsenal. But it's what UConn ran to get Terrace the layup with 1 minute left in overtime. You can compare the two clips on my timeline. But I just love the image of like Dan scrolling on his burner and seeing this clip and being like, "Oh, let's drop that in at the end of overtime tonight." It just warms my soul.
This isn't how it happened. No escalators, hot balls. When we were sitting with Tom Moore, whose name did I drop to him at the end of the thing on Sunday? You won't remember his name. Mike Maxack, the head coach at Northern Michigan. I mentioned that this guy was going viral and they run a lot of good stuff. I do not think the team went and watched it because I dropped the name. But yeah, that was very funny that was the play that they chose to run in that spot, was the Twitter one.
Yeah. The other thing that makes me happy and is a nice little statistical thing, prior to the game tonight, UConn was shooting 34.4% from three, which is 153rd ranked nationally. Right now they're up to 36.4 on the season, so they lifted themselves 2 full percentage points in one game, and good for 64th nationally, almost climbed 100 spots, which is some amazing aggression to the mean.
Yeah, they fixed the 3-point shooting. It only took everything else breaking for it to happen, but they did it. Yeah.
And the third thing that makes me happy is we got this out of the way tonight instead of 6 days from now. My projection for how we will do in Newark is significantly improved now that they've lived through this and survived.
Well, it better be, because let me be the first to wish you a happy birthday. When I realized that is your birthday also, and that I'm pretty certain you're going, I was like, it can't happen this year. Don't do that to him.
Yeah. I just got a text from somebody who had a thought that I did, by the way, which is that despite your denials, you very much believe you were the reason that Northern Michigan play made it into the playoff, and I'll let you have that.
I do. I mean, we're all vainglorious. What can I?
I mean, it is. Look, it is fun, and I am happy. Bigger picture, a lot of concerns. A lot of the things that have been concerning. Not Silas, by the way. Silas was incredible, and I hope this augurs for great things ahead. But it's sort of the very good, not elite level type performance you worry about. They slipped a little in the metrics. Providence is not a good team. Nobody in this conference, save maybe a couple teams on their good nights, is a really good team, and it's the type of team that this game should not have been that close. There should not have been a 3.6% chance of winning with 3 minutes left. I still have the hope they'll go 20-0, but it's just, you'd like to see it all clicking. And what's a little concerning is that the games where it's felt like it's clicked. I think if somebody goes back to the recording of the Xavier space, I said, like, I'm happy that we blew them out, but they sure missed a lot of open threes, and just like we hit a lot, the good 3-point luck we've had kind of disappeared tonight, and that, I think, led to a lot of the tough spot. It's like, this is a team that, if they played a good team tonight, they would have lost. If they didn't get otherworldly hot from three, they would have lost, and that's not ideal. So some mild concerns, but look, it was a great win, and you love the toughness.
Yeah, all very solid and fair points, and I am a math fan, and you always have me there because you do know that deep down I know that you're right, and it upsets me.
And the last thing I'll say is this did remind me of another UConn game, another great, exciting win. That's honestly one of my fondest UConn game memories. It was from February of a year that will come to the year in a moment as I end here. It was a little bit the reverse because UConn had a big lead and gave up like a 20-2 run to their opponent, which was Notre Dame in the Hartford Civic Center. And they hit a buzzer beater to force overtime and then won in overtime. And it was like super thrilling and exciting, but it was a Notre Dame team UConn probably should have blasted. So I was a student. I was there. It was a great time, and it is a great regular season memory for me. But I bring it up mostly because would you guys like to guess what year that occurred in? Maybe Mr. Hotball specifically?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
That would be the 2006 UConn basketball team, which Marcus Williams hit a buzzer beater bank shot to force overtime. And just, we chatted about this the other day, the sort of unbelievable talent in all up and down the roster, but it's just never quite clicking. I just sometimes get a little bit of the same vibes, which I really enjoyed 2006 until it ended, and I'm hoping everything clicks into place at some point because I'd like to enjoy this year more. Have a good night,
I
guys.
don't think you're wrong in that at all, man. It definitely has that like vibe with it where I don't know if I can
Trust them.
I don't know if I can trust them. They play with their food a little bit. That element's certainly in there, although I think it might be a little overstated. But there's just something, and I can't like precisely put my finger on it, as to like what I feel like is off. But it's off from the standpoint of like them going from being what they are now to like a killing machine. The good news is, they have time to get there. I think the potential for that is still there. But it definitely has that undertone to it. I want to see them melt somebody really badly. Like just do something.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah, no, they have to. That's why I'm really, I don't want to be the Debbie Downer, but like that's the canary in the coal mine is the bad shit. Like it's fun tonight and we should enjoy it, but like the shit has to get fixed because like you do it against 9-6 Providence, it works. You do that in the second round and your season is over.
Yeah.
Not like Elite Eight, second round. This shit is serious. So, all very fair points.
All right. Penfield.
By the way, I totally mangled. Matt Mazarak is the name of the coach at Northern Michigan. I'm texting him about the play now. I'm gloating. Go ahead, Penfield.
Incredible win, right? They really dug deep on that one, and Silas in particular was like almost dragged that team to the finish line. And Braylon has some huge cojones, like that play where he hit the three to win the game, basically. Coming out of the inbounds, Silas like walked over to him and said basically the play they were going to run. They ran down the court and then he hit that three. It was awesome. So yeah, I'm not as concerned. Like obviously there's like, you don't want to be in a game like that with Providence, but at the same time, it's the game that they look forward to more than anything. Probably it's a rivalry game, and those guys are hitting ridiculous shots. Whatever that guy with the crazy haircut made three threes like
Duncan Powell.
Yeah, Duncan Powell.
Like him hitting that's the other side of that's a comet landing on your head.
Yeah.
And you've just survived it. Duncan Powell will never do that. He is. Look up his career log. First of all, you're going to see some wild schools. This is his fourth one. Not Steph Curry. Thinks he is though. Yeah,
the last
wild
three
to
he
divide
hit
that.
with like, I don't know, Terrace was in his face, and he just kind of, it's like,
Yeah, Terrace
at
was
the
like,
point
I
where he's
guess
just
I
like,
got
what
to
are we gonna
guard this.
do? Yeah. So yeah, but I thought one of the big things that was kind of surprising to me, and it was good coaching tonight, was honestly the lineup that Hurley put out there at the end with Solo on the bench, and he doesn't really do that very often. You know, he kind of sticks with his starters even if they're not having a great game. Um, so that was big, and I think we like down the stretch, like having Stewie in there with the defensive effort, it really helps. So he made the right moves, and hopefully Solo bounces back
Yeah,
from this game. But
Yeah, what was Solo's plus minus tonight?
yeah,
I
and
think I saw somewhere in my mention it was like
I'll
minus
check.
17 or something.
Oh, it probably was. I actually thought in the second half, I didn't think he was that bad. I didn't think like him
no, he
being out.
wasn't terrible.
He
But
minus 19.
well,
Jalen was plus 18. So there you
yep.
go. And I didn't think Solo was like the reason or anything. Like when it was bad, I wasn't even really thinking about Solo, to be honest. It was kind of more of a team thing, and the terrorist thing really stood out. But it looked like Solo last year defensively tonight for whatever reason. But Dan, in the pregame for this game, one of the questions he got weirdly was it led to him answering, I think it was about numbers and metrics and something. And he talked about it's important to still, coach with your gut sometimes. And that was an example tonight was he saw how it was going, and that's coaching. He's just like, if it was me, they don't win for a million reasons, including I don't know how to coach, so I'm just going to look at numbers and shit. And you can't just do that and win. You have to have game feel. And Dan had a really good game feel tonight in the second half and onward. And he knew what was working. They took Solo out. They put that other unit in that was actually getting stops in a game where there were no stops available for anybody. We are all out. We were fresh out. We found a couple in reserve, and it was with him on the bench. And more than that, it wasn't as much taking Solo out. I thought it was more putting Jalen in.
Yeah.
Jalen defensively basically wins them the game.
Yep. 100%. So
hey, hot balls, Penfield, Hurley Mania, Ollie
Oh.
Williams here, long-time listener,
All right,
first-time
hold on,
caller.
Ollie. We'll get to you in a second, man.
Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say my final thought was, again, you don't want to be in a game like this, but I think this will be good for the team. Like they've had to face something like this, and the Big East obviously isn't great this year. So whatever, just move on, and hopefully we crush DePaul on Saturday.
That would be nice. You know,
it would be, and I do owe you the Silas challenge. I am trying to physically be able to just drink water without that. So
well, if you need any tips on how to drink water, I might be able to help with that. But
Thank you. The last couple of days I've been practicing. Thank you, Penfield. Appreciate that and what you're doing with the fundraising as well.
So we're gonna go John next, then Ollie. You'll be after him, and then we're gonna do Annie and Patio, then Passionate. ... I just don't want to look at your name right now.
That's good stuff.
John, go ahead.
Sure. So a couple big takeaways from tonight. First one is Caravan needed a big spot to prove himself as an NBA player right there. And I think he did that tonight. And that's kind of what he's been playing for the past few years, is he needed that time where he showed up, where he could take over a game and come up with some big shots. And the other one was the pure shock out of Hurley when he came alive in the post-game conference, when he was talking to the reporter. He's like, we lose these games. We always lose these games. And he could not have been more surprised, and you never see him respond like that. And I thought that was a huge moment for the program, where he was like, this is a different type of team. But my question to you two, Hurley Mania and Hot Balls, is we need a big man to win these championship games. If you look at, we had Klingon, and, before that we had Sonogo, but is Terrace Reed that big guy where we can win those big games? And I think he might be. And I feel like this is a different type of team where we could hold that. But those two things combined with Caravan trying to find an NBA contract, and then we got, Terrace Reed trying to hold it down from the front. So I want to hear from you guys if you think Terrace Reed can take us to the promised land.
Yeah, I think like the way I guess I look at Terrace right now, I think he's a slight step down from where Donovan and Sanogo were as like leading guys. I think his skill set, his ceiling is every bit as much there. There's a mental disconnect with him, man, especially defensively at nights, where the consistency just isn't there. And I don't want to come off like I'm killing the guy.
True.
He's a very, 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 very good college basketball center. Like, very good. Sanogo and Klingon are probably two of the top 3 or 4 bigs we've ever had in the program, in a program that has had some unbelievable bigs over the years, right? Totally good enough for what we need him to be, but for him to kind of realize his ceiling, like I'm sort of less worried about the physical gifts and just more about like the brain catching up with the body at times. Like, never been a guy that's like a super high basketball IQ guy. I want to see the passing out of the post be a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
There's times where it looks fine. There's times where it doesn't. There's times where like, he's got the paint locked down. There's times where he's getting, completely lost on like basic pick and rolls. There's times where he looks dominating back to the basket. And there's other times where we're dribbling in the high post. Like there's a lot more in and out with him. I think he's a lot more, along the vein, in the vein of maybe not, all American type guy, but like an all conference kind of guy that's going to be what they need him to be. The difference, I think, for Terrace is, he's great at the rim, but the number of offensive weapons on the perimeter that this team has, if they can get that to fire, like that's going to be more than fine what he's giving. Yeah. So like, I don't want to come off and saying that like I'm worried or, or anything like that. But I personally feel like it's safe to say at this point, like that's where I see him as being.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get 4 guys over 20 points in the starting lineup, we're in good shape. But at the same time, it comes down to 4-out, 1 in.
We got the whole experience tonight.
We did.
Like if you see what second half Terrace Reed was tonight, like, and we can get that on a consistent basis, like that's terrifying. We get first half Terrace Reed, in any setting in an NCAA tournament, it could be a long night, man. So like he's got to be able to kind of find that consistency. I haven't seen that on the level. Like, that's not to say that like, Adama didn't have his growing pains too, right? Like we always used to joke about the black hole that he was in 22 and you'd throw the ball in the post and would have a hard time getting out of there. But like I look at, where Sanogo was, junior year as opposed to where Reed is now. Like Sanogo, I feel like just overall was way farther down the road than Terrace was. And that's not a knock on Terrace as much as it is a testament to how good Sanogo was.
Yeah. Now, do you think that we need that type of big man to win, to make a run, or what do you think that we need to capitalize on this?
I'll take that one. I think we needed more than what we needed from the other guys we mentioned, simply because there's not as many great dominant big men you're probably going to run into. I mean, they'll need it if they face his old team. If that happens, they're going to need it. But that's a huge task if they somehow get in that position. And also, if you want to have hope in it, you should feel great about the win. But if you're like a little nervous about the performance, look at what Michigan did last night. It happens. It happens to everybody. You might as well win when it does. I think that the Terrace thing, I think he's absolutely good enough to lead into the promised land. But my concern is that it's like when it busts, man, it busts. Like the first half tonight was maybe the worst of it, but like when it's bad, it looks kind of like that. And that's what concerns me on it, because with the other guys, when they would struggle, I mean, Adama maybe would, the ball wouldn't come out, but it wasn't like he would still rebound. Like Terrace wasn't boxing anybody out in the first half. So that's my concern with it. Like with Terrace, the low end of Terrace is not good enough, but they got the elite level tonight, second half onward. They can absolutely lead them there. If they can build the offense with the other guys, if they're getting Braylon going off and Alex is having a really big night and Silas is having a good night, then it's really not as big of a deal if Terrace is just like fine.
True.
He can't be a 0 though. because they're going to attack it. So that's the other good news about it is that in addition to his incredible level of skill and talent is that they don't need him to be like what Donovan or Adama was because they have so many other weapons, including a weapon those teams had. We still have Alex. He's still here. So that's my hope on it. And,
the three things they have to get from Terrace is rim protection, is rebounding, right? And the ability to get easy buckets, like the buckets he wasn't getting in the first half, where, you go a little drive for the perimeter. You got the opportunity, that they've always kind of used their bigs as a means, especially with Sonogo. Let's just go get an easy two, and, that's what they need him to be. Easy twos, rim protection, rebounding. And if he's those three things, they got what they needed out of him.
Yeah, it's a good point, boys. But at the end of the day, if Caravan shows up like he did tonight, that's good for the program. So appreciate you, fellas.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, man.
Ollie, we'll finally let you off the leash, man. What do you got for us, brother?
Great game tonight. Unbelievable atmosphere down there in Providence. I mean, PC, you kidding me? UConn comes to town. What were they down 11 with 3 minutes to go? OT win. Braylon Mullins 6 for 10 from 3. I just wonder if him or Hawkins were Steph and Clay. Who would you put as Steph and who would you put as Clay? Jordan Hawkins, Braylon Mullins. Who's Steph and who's Clay? NBA comparison.
I would go Braylon as Steph, honestly, and Jordan as Clay. Braylon's a much better dribbler. So I trust him to be able to create things more than I would trust Jordan. Also, Jordan's got more height, more size. I think he's a little bigger.
Yeah, I mean, Penfield mentioned earlier that pass Caravan to Mullins in the corner sealed the game with that 3. He just found his spot, pulled up, delivered, nothing but net. You give Mullins 1 inch of space and it's going in. I love this UConn team.
There were so many times tonight where he just popped up open in corners. And at first I was like, what is Providence doing? But because, who aren't we going to, it was funny. UConn's very first possession of the game, the only good thing that happened in the first half was as Donnie Marshall was being asked for his first of many soliloquies by John Fanta
the vegan.
On what does Providence have to do to win the game tonight? In the middle of that, solo ball gets a wide open corner 3. UConn tonight got so many corner looks, and that's been a shot they haven't knocked down for a couple of years. We've got Noah Escalators has noted it. UConn just as bad in corner 3s. Tonight, they finally did what good shooting teams should do on those, but they got a ton of looks out of the corner tonight.
They really did. And Mullins will knock him down.
Braylon just kept moving.
But yeah, that's all I had. I think Mullins, he moves around without the basketball like Steph Curry. He's unbelievable. He'll be great in the league, and can't wait to see what he does. Apparently, he can get to the rack and dunk on everybody too. I don't know. That's what they say about him. He can shoot the lights out too.
Yeah, he has the hops to. I mean, we saw him dunk on Sunday. He's going to throw down on somebody at some point tonight. Would have been wild. It would have triggered a brawl. Would have been great. What a night, by the way, for his family. They were there, getting to experience that building the way this game is, and then their son does that.
24 career high.
It's nuts. And so yeah. By the way, so we add this now in. At Kansas, at Providence, what was the other road game Braylon went off in? He had one other road game where he went nuts. This kid has been really, really great on the road. So that's something that we brought this up recently. It might have been the Xavier game. I'll have to check. He's been sensational in these really intimidating road environments in the league so far. I know the teams aren't great. These aren't high end. Maybe even Kansas.
High end crowds.
But
oh yeah.
High end crowds. It was and by the way, interesting little fact. I hate giving him any credit whatsoever about anything. Praneet Nanda tweeting out tonight. This is the 3rd straight year UConn men's basketball has rallied from a 13 point deficit to beat Providence. 3rd straight year.
That's so misleading. I love the one from
Yes,
3 years
that's the
ago.
best
That's
one.
the Devin
The
Carter
15-2.
Jurassic Park
Yeah.
shot.
The 15-20.
The 13-point deficit was with 14 minutes to go in the first half.
Another
So,
point I wanted to
was
mention
Xavier
was
Lenoff.
Stewart playing on top of the key the entire night tonight. He's all of 6'5", 6'6", arms out all over the floor. I think he played 40 minutes tonight. I mean, offensively might be lost, but defensively he is a presence up at the top of the paint. It makes it tough for the offense.
You remember in his freshman year, that Big East tournament game that was awful, but he I won't say won it. UConn won comfortably, but he's what broke that thing open. He basically kind of played center in that game for a stretch.
Yeah,
Donovan was dominant in that game, but when Donovan was out, they put Jalen Stewart kind of out there, and that's what tonight reminded me a little of with Jalen Stewart when he was all of 6'5". They were, as a freshman, they were playing him like he was a forward,
Yeah.
and now we're 3 years later.
Yep. But yeah, that's it. Thank you. Let's go Huskies. Let's go Huskies. Keep it rolling.
Thanks, Ollie. Hot balls, before you bring in my close personal friend Andy, Dan Hurley has just tweeted. I will state it. I don't get as many technical fouls as people think, and tonight was my first technical foul outside of our locker room. End quote.
What a special man.
So there's that.
Just the best human. Unbelievable.
Andy, how you doing?
Hi.
You alive?
Hi, guys.
Hi, Annie.
You alive?
Yes. I will say more than X's no. There was a lot on the line for me personally.
Yes.
They could not lose this. And I will add to the 3-year thing, that's not just the Devin Carter shot 3 years ago. That's the Devin Carter tweet 3 years ago, right? Which is the curse at Providence. The Michael Vick tweet.
Oh, God, I had forgotten about that.
That is the curse.
Yes.
I might sound crazy, but I believe in this one.
For the folks that don't remember, nobody holds a grudge like Andy. She's got me beat. It's incredible. Yeah, Devin Carter, was it before the game?
Before the game, tweeted a GIF of Michael Vick before a game, implying we're killing
something
dogs
involving
tonight.
Jonathan. Yeah. So.
And I took that very personally, and then
You did.
And then they barked at. Anyway, I'm not gonna get into that because people are gonna think I'm weird. But
you're not bitter. That's
You're
fine.
weird.
You're not
it's
bitter.
okay. We've already.
I thought the first half was we couldn't get a stop, but you also could tell that they were hitting shots that they've never hit before. There was a couple on Alex where Alex is barely putting his hands up, so you can kind of tell that that's not the scout. So I wasn't so much they were fouling a lot, but I didn't feel like they were playing as bad. And then I thought really I thought it was a coaching masterclass, to have someone play as bad as Terrace was playing, and then to push the right buttons at halftime and have him come out like a different human being is crazy. That's incredible. So I thought, and there was a shot towards the end of the game. I don't know if everyone had the same stream, but where Dan has a towel on top of his face and he's kind of chatting with the Providence fans.
That was so good.
He knew he had him. That's when I he had a couple sets where I thought he fortunately for Providence, that was really different classes of coaches. And then in the same, it's hard to win these games on the road. I wish they won by 30, obviously, but this I think hurts them more. I'm not sure. I think this hurts them more, so I'm happy with that. And then in the process, you find out, you're talking about who took over, Alex taking over the game. They leave 3 dudes who took over this game. And that's good to know, right? Silas, every bit of Tristan Newton differently, but every bit of a dude, right? And there was a shot of him at some point in the second half when you would think we'd get a little bit discouraged because we cut it down to 5, and then they hit 2 big threes, and then it's 11, and we cut it down to 5. It was a bit discouraging of a second half, I thought. And then there was like a shot of him, he's talking to Dan, and he does a thumbs up, and his face, like you could tell he was really present in the game. I was really impressed, obviously, with him. And then yeah, you get in with three dudes who are making really difficult shots, willing to make difficult shots. Like the Mullins shots were difficult. Like he's sprinting one way, he's jumping, turning, and hit. Like that's very difficult.
Yeah,
So I'm
a lot of those ones late, like his last 2 or 3, like they were on him. That release is so quick, and it fucking has to be. That is a small window.
yeah. So I don't know if
With how complex this shit is, the kid processed it that fast is incredible.
yeah. So they're all fearless. I thought the issue with Solo, he was kind of like giving away fouls. I thought easily, like there are fouls at the top of the 3-point line. At like hands. Braylon had a couple too, but he's much younger than Solo is. So I thought he was. So
Yeah.
that might not be a great sign for him. Like down the road, I think like these games more so kind of give information to Dan and the staff on who is really great in the situations, because they don't have a ton of, like you said, a sample size of like these games and who. So that's good information for the staff, but I think I don't really care how bad. Like that's just a good win to get, and it would have been a really annoying loss to have hanging over your head for the next 2 months. Like that would have been, and next years, right? Like that they might, like I might be wrong, but they might storm the court if they win this. Like that is such.
Oh yeah, they have before. They've like multiple times
Many
done
times.
it. So yeah,
Probably
I would have
would
expected it. And they a couple of what they tried to do late, I noticed, and it made sense. Was that they were trying to switch to have Mela one-on-one with Braylon, and that's where you see the difference. And we're not going to see it because Braylon is going to be playing the Clippers next year, not Providence. But like Mela is a sophomore, and physically he looks so much bigger now than he did last year when at Gamble. He had a pretty good game in that awful game at Gamble. He played pretty well. You kind of the storm back. And Melo a year later looks like, a bigger dude. And that's the difference. Like Braylon, I thought played really well defensively, but that's a hard matchup for him. The other thing is there's not a lot of teams in this league that have 6-7 wings that are that good offensively. I know that team stinks, but they have good 6-7 wings. They have many of them.
Yeah.
And that was what they tried to do to take advantage of him. And I thought Braylon hung in there pretty well defensively, but there were a couple of times where, yeah, Mela got his, and that's going to happen. But that's something he's going to have to, welcome to the Big East, kid. Like you got to, and Dan got him in there to mount the comeback, to trust that he's not going to screw up because he's a freshman, that he's going to have the confidence to he's part of the unit that wins the game too defensively. So his defensive impact is just as big, but watching him be a flamethrower from 3 is a lot more fun.
And proves himself to like can take a punch and give a punch, which is really impressive for somebody who doesn't really have these types of games. And then I also thought like there was an issue with rebounding at some point. Like Providence wanted more for a good part of that game, and then in the second half we just started diving for balls that we really had no shot in getting. But I think it just got them going a little bit. So I think like Braylon had a couple where he dove on the floor and had just like no chance at the ball, which is kind of diving to dive, and I think it got other people going. But anyway.
Yeah, then Jalen Stewart started diving, and I remember that. That was interesting. It was like, I don't know why, but all right, good. That's what you want to see. The same thing happened Sunday, by the way. Which Sunday was worse. They were getting out rebounded by friggin' Marquette at the half. Dan lit into them. They turned it around second half. Today, the same thing happened. That's not good, but they turned it around, and they were way more engaged. Like, you're right, Andy. Like, boxing out, hustling, like, they were just getting beat to every loose ball in the first half. It was so frustrating.
I feel like you just got to, this isn't one of those groups that you got to kind of plug into the wall a little bit earlier in the game. And a good way to do that is to throw the press on a little bit earlier. We've talked about this with some UConn teams in the past. I remember back, it was 20, 21, 22, that the early years with Dan, slow starts were a real thing. And they started picking up defensive pressure a little bit earlier in the game to just kind of get guys locked into the game on their man, and engaged in what you're trying to do. And, maybe that's what they got to do to get things rolling right out of the gate with these guys. But, yeah, man, it's been two pretty brutal slow starts for them.
Yeah, or even I find the press, I know it's exhausting to press, but it gets them, even if it doesn't really work in terms of getting steals, it does feel like it has that effect of getting everyone involved a lot more. But anyway, I won't take up too much time. I'm thrilled with this win personally, emotionally. For them, I'm more happy that they lost than that we won, but I think it gives us great info. We have a bunch of dudes, and yeah, sometimes games are bad, but they took punches and they gave them right back. So I'm happy, thrilled. Yeah, have a good night, everyone. That was it.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Andy.
All right, cheers.
All right, we're gonna move.
Yeah, no,
go ahead.
We've seen this team. They can take a punch. We know that now. Now, I hope they don't have to take too many, but it is valuable to see that we're talking openly about can they be 20-0, which I still don't think is realistic, but it's not completely insane. We now see that they're going to get a punch in this league and they can respond to it. There is value in that.
Yeah, they managed to do it on the road. I mean, I think the toughest games for them are going to
in a really tough environment too. Yeah, that's one of the, for a UConn team in that building to do that, that's about as hard of a task as you could come up with, other than maybe Creighton.
Yeah, I mean, I think Creighton, St. John's, and Villanova are going to be the three, and Seton Hall are going to be the three tough away games. I think those are the games I've got my eyeballs on. I would be very surprised to see them drop a game at home. But you never know. College athletics is full of surprises. All right, we're going to get moving down the line here, but before we do that, folks, quick word from our sponsor here. You want to talk about a Connecticut business? Nothing comes close to Martin Rollsoul. Since 1928, Martin Rollsoul has been feeding cranky Huskies fans all over Connecticut and beyond. Hot dogs, sausages, kielbasa's, and deli meats. They have everything we need to keep jerks like Hurley Mania fed, quiet, but they didn't threaten to pull their sponsorship over it, even a place to frankly just leave them. But I promised we wouldn't do that to them. Again, that's Martin Rollsouls at 45 Grove Street in New Britain, the official sponsor of the Connecticut Basketball Spaces Wiener Weinerline. All right, going to keep it moving here and go move on down to Patio. Then we're going to have Sujit after that, and Connor Rush is going to be in the queue as well. But Patio, man, what do you got for us tonight?
You guys hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
I don't know, who else was at the game tonight, but I'm on Route 9, just getting back. First of all, holy crap, the first time with the dunk for me, and my God, I watched the last first time, yeah, absolutely insane. My buddy, admittedly, he's a Providence fan, hit me up this morning. He's like, hey, I have a ticket. Do you want to go? Worked out. But I watched the last 5 minutes on YouTube TV in traffic on the way home. And let me just tell you guys, I don't know who was there. That place was an absolute madhouse. And, we have, as UConn fans, experienced a hell of a lot. We've been down and out. 2010, the Kemba run, absolutely insane. 2014, down 3 with the Brima three-point play. I mean, there's been times when we have come back from the brink. Let me tell you, I didn't think we had a shot coming out of the second half. I was like, okay, I went to the bathroom. All of a sudden, we were down 13 with a technical. That game was over on 8 or 9 different occasions. And that building was insane. And let me tell you, when that dude hit the around the back fast break, what the cameras didn't show, the beers were flying on that end of the court. Beers were everywhere in the arena. The place was a madhouse. I was screaming 5 minutes prior, the UConn chant. Guys were getting in my face, threatening to fight me. But point being, that game felt like it was over, and literally 8 or 9 different occasions, and even up to a minute when that dude hit that 3 and we were down 5. What I'm trying to say is my first UConn game was the Johnny Selvey era, when we lost to, I think it was St. Bonaventure on a Friday night. I want to say it was December 2000 or 2001.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it was December of 2001. Yeah.
Yeah, it was awful. It was literally my first game. I was 11 or 12 years old. But of all the games I've been to, and I've been to a lot of games, I've never felt like we were dead in the water. And I truly, admittedly felt like that tonight. And they just kept coming. We just kept coming. And that Caravan play where he kind of faked the three and drove baseline and scored. Listen, I'm not going to call it on our own guys. He definitely got away, in my opinion, with a little bit of a travel there they didn't call. But, I mean, the games I've been to, I was in Phoenix for both games. I've been to Big East tournaments, you name it. That was as gratifying and probably one of the best UConn games in person I have ever been to. And it was just, it literally speechless. 9 right now, just went through Essex, shot out the Griswold. And I'm not gonna be able to sleep, like you guys said. Like, it was absolutely insane.
Say hi to Brooklyn for me. Yeah, no, I tweeted it's true. If I was in the building as a UConn fan for that, they would not have been able to take me out of that building alive with what I would have given those
He
people.
may have not made it.
Oh, it was insane.
And just so you know, having been there, that's what it's like. That's it. Now you understand, having seen it.
Oh my, yeah. I mean, like, I've watched the games on TV, and you can tell when you're watching on TV, like, all right, like that's a serious venue, like. But on television does really, as you guys know, not do it justice. As wild and as awesome as Fanta was on the call, the clips that I watched, that place was an absolute madhouse. And mind you, like, the students weren't there. It's still, break. But like, it's crazy. Like, speaking of the upside down, I don't know who was saying it earlier. Like, we have failed to put teams away this year. We've kind of played with our food. Like, the defensive effort has been amazing, but oh my God, the shooting tonight output of Mullins, of Demery, of Caravan, that might be Caravan's best game in a UConn uniform. And there's a lot of great games from Caravan. What did he hit? 5 or 6 threes? Down the stretch, my God, it was just insane. And I was sitting behind the bench, 8 or 9 rows back, and I just can't remember a game where, especially in the Hurley era, where they were down and down and down. And I mean, 11 with 4 to go. Are you kidding me? And they just kept coming, man. It was something to watch in person. Really, we've seen so much, especially in the last 4 years, 2 years, 3 years, the Hurley era. That was, up there for me, really.
Yeah, that's incredible. I also realized while you were speaking, this has to be. I was at the last UConn Providence overtime game in that building. It went double overtime. That building it's crazy shit happens. That was that was 2005. It was Ryan Gomes versus Charlie Villanueva going blow for blow, which was pretty impressive to watch. But tonight was way crazier. I'm gonna see if I can pull that box score up. That was
94-89, the double overtime game. I think it was right around Valentine's Day, right?
It was, yep. It was the day after Valentine's Day, 2005. Yeah, of course I'll have to find the box score, but yeah, that building is, so I've seen UConn win a game in that building and I'm good. I've got that challenge coin. I don't need to go back. Maybe if it's a weekend game, but, I was also at the game 3 years ago, where they lost on a Tuesday night in the middle of that wild January where things were going bad. So yeah, I'm glad your weeknight trip to the dunk went a lot better than mine did. So, yeah, now you should bring a raincoat next time because they buy 2 beers, they drink one, they throw the other. It's, it's weird.
Yeah, it was, we had a UConn contingency in the corner there, and we were, people were chanting. The guy next to me, he's like, "Oh, I'm going to call security on your ass." You're in the fryer section. Guys were getting in my face, and I was just I was going at it. I was tweeting out, I'm not going to get out of here alive if you guys look at my profile. But listen, my first time on Spaces, and, this is awesome. What a win. What a win. I'll get into the next guy, but man, as far as regular season wins go, and that's got to be up there, especially in the Hurley era. That is top tier, and it's up there with probably the Kansas comeback earlier this year. But aside from that, I can't remember a game where really, you guys mentioned 3% chance of winning that whole game, even when they were clawing back, the 3 with a minute to go, we were down 5 again, and what a game. I'll end it with that. But oh my God, what an experience.
Thanks, man. Yeah, appreciate you and the UConn fans there. We could hear the UConn chant at the end of regulation and the loud boos that it was greeted by after it. And then the other two chants in OT, which were not met with anything. I also know somebody who was there tonight in the player family section. And this year, for the first time, Providence split up the allotment they had to give to UConn. So they tried to not make it one contingent, which is interesting because there's going to be a lot of UConn fans in that building anyway.
Oh yeah, shout out to Big Basil. Big Basil, I caught out of he was down there in the thick of it. I don't know if he's on, but he was in the thick of it, going wild.
Yeah, no, thank the people who got. I'm glad you all got it alive. If I'm not, honestly, a little disappointed at the same time. Would have been worth dying for, but hey, safe travels home. I have pulled up. Thank you for jumping on. I have the box score from the 05 game. Marcus Williams played 47 minutes. He had 14 and 13 with 2 turnovers. Charlie had 22 and 10. Ryan Gomes had 37 and 8. He played 48 minutes. Donnie McGrath played all 50 minutes of the basketball game.
Oh, my God. That's a blast from the past, huh?
So Providence is starting 5. Tuka Cotty, Jeff Parmer, Herbert Hill, Donnie McGrath, and Ryan Gomes. Yep. I was sitting next to Bob Ryan during the entire game. That was where I was, which was interesting in and of itself. UConn starting 5 were Rudy Gay, Charlie Villanueva, Denham Brown, Josh Boone, and Marcus Williams. Hilton Armstrong played 28 minutes off the bench in UConn's 94-89 double OT win on February 15th of 2005. That is 21 years ago. I'm going to go climb into the ground myself. Oh, I have to also note, Randall Hankey played 2 minutes for Providence. Another great weirdo they had.
So many weird Providence players over the years. Sujit, what do you got for us, brother? Fire away.
Oh, so happy about this incredible win. My goodness, the best game I'm gonna be keeping in mind for years to come and bringing up later on down the line. But wow, could not believe it. We were down throughout the second half and playing defense like we did last year, was struggling to get stops, can't rebound, getting called for a lot of fouls, refs screwing us over. And we're and every time we make any kind of comeback, they just keep responding and building the lead back up, whether it's 13 or close to 13, whether it's Duncan Powell, Ryan Mella, Jalen Sellers, Jason Edwards, Amir Jones, you name it. It just didn't feel like we were going to make that comeback. But then Silas steps up and then makes critical stops, and then the momentum carries on in the last 3 minutes, and we bring it together. And also, just wanted to let this out. I think this might be the game that we broke a record or tied for the record for the most threes in a game. Either it's this one or that game last year, or not last year, a couple years ago, where Tristan Newton had 5 threes against Oregon or something. But yeah, didn't expect the game to go like this at all, because Providence was an 8-6 team and 1-2 in the Big East, and we were favored by 10. We should have had another blowout game like we did against Marquette and Xavier, but at least we won is the main thing. Although our bench production wasn't that good, but as long as our starters played well, especially the hyped up prospect in Braylon Mullins, love him because the way he plays, the way whenever he shoots the ball, gets so much excitement, and he was lights out tonight. But just hope he's not as much in foul trouble. And Hurley's coaching decisions, keeping Terrace out, in overtime until we need him the most. A really, really smart coach we have in Dan Hurley. And also a game this high scoring. Wow.
Yeah. Hopald, I thought Ryba's best contributions of the night came, honestly, his 2 minutes in OT were huge, just to be able to give Terrace a little bit of a break, because Eric did not have a good night. He wasn't bad. It just wasn't his night. But those 2 minutes in OT he gave him, and he just held the fort, were huge. And now he's seen what that building looks like. And so, welcome, buddy.
But should we say, I don't know if you guys saw, Andrea Hurley saw a tweet that said that she says the Providence fans are a bunch of jerk-offs.
Well,
yeah, I'm not sure which member of the...
She said that a couple of years ago, but she was posting on Instagram tonight quite a bit after the game.
Yeah, I would recommend Andrea's Instagram right now. If you haven't checked it out, that's where the really funny content is. Yeah, they don't love that fan base, with a lot of good reason. So big night for
I
both
mean,
of
the
them.
rivalry.
Yeah. Suji, I'm glad to have you on. I mean, you were one of our regulars a couple
I
years
was,
ago.
but
Glad that
there's
you're
another guy who
still,
runs a
hanging on.
podcast named Russ Miller, and also Big Red sometimes comes on that podcast. So then I've been turning to him, but he also he knows me really well because I've been a regular on his podcast. So it's like, and also a lot of people come on here, so it's like, don't know if I'd get to talk, but also I've been busy over the years. So, but I'll try to come on a little bit more.
You're always welcome. You were always a house of energy when we were winning titles. So love having you
Yeah, but
back,
last
man.
season was really emotionally tough, also because we were structurally flawed. But now the team is so much better with the upgrades at point guard, especially.
Yeah. No, tonight was a little bit of what if last year had a really good point guard?
Yeah.
That's what it felt like we were watching.
But at the same time, like, imagine if we didn't have a night like this, like shooting threes like that. If they didn't miss critical free throws and like to give us a chance to tie the game in the end. But also, dare I bring up Maui, which I got reminded of when we made that significant comeback then too against Memphis to force overtime. And my biggest hope going into overtime was bring it together, make sure we get the job done this time. Don't let any flashes of that game ever come back. We gotta like do the thing this time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good callback because they did try and do this last year against Memphis, and then the OT didn't go well, and then Dan had a nervous breakdown, and we know what happened after that.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Sinjit. Yeah, great win,
Yeah.
great performance for Braylon. I reached out to his dad to ask how the night went. He said, "For right now, amazing win." So that's fun.
Yeah, but I hope we
Glad
get
they
more bench
survived.
production out of especially Malachi Smith and Ross and Ryba next game. 'Cause that's
Yeah.
my biggest concern. But yeah, keep this a memory.
Got it.
Absolutely, you have to enjoy. It's part of the ride, right? Like, even if God forbid they get banged early in the tournament, that's awful and it sucks. That's why you have to enjoy things like tonight when they happen.
And last thing I'll say before next person is one thing we haven't done yet in the Big East since since rejoining the Big East is win the road game at Seton Hall. That didn't happen even last season. Hope it happens. That's the game I'm looking out for.
I know. It's the game of the year.
Better be.
I
The
see
game
it
we all look the
cresting.
most forward to.
I see it cresting over the hill ominously.
So,
I invite it.
so many great results in New Jersey over the years.
If they have
so many great
a slow start Saturday against DePaul, it will literally be it will be there looking ahead to it. I will absolutely claim
It's
that.
the one game that, honest to God, like if we just lose, I'll laugh. I'm not even going to be mad. I'm not going to get upset.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pour over the spreadsheets. Not going to break it down. I'm just going to laugh.
I mean, we lost to the terrible Seton Hall team. This is a good one. So
we've lost good teams. We've lost middling teams. We've lost terrible teams. It's part of the gimmick, man.
And I'll say that the thing Providence did tonight, a shot team ain't doing that. They did it to UConn last year. They came back. That team's tough. You want to talk about teams UConn has to come out with toughness as intensity. It is Seton Hall.
Yes.
The story of last year's game against which is what happened, like to contribute to that result was the trouble inbounding.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was tonight, no inbound issues, especially given that they were facing a press all night. So that was a positive thing to see. Thank you, Sujit.
And also Caravan recovering from 0 for 5 from 3 and performing the way he did tonight. Incredible recovery for him.
Thanks, Suji. All right, going to move on down here. We're going to go to Connor, and then going to try to bring it home probably with Jaden Daly. So, Connor, man, what do you got for us, brother?
I would echo that. I remember I called in last time, and I was talking about the just inability to break a press on offense. But today, they were definitely rattled by it at times, but they did what they need to do. And then I love that. I know it took them a while to actually press themselves, but considering that how hot Providence was offensively, and there are all these guys hitting shots that have clearly never made them before, like just to go out and press them and rattle them finally, like I thought that had a really big difference, which was great. Also, as our guy was just saying, Caravan, he just has that clutch gene, man. Whenever you need him, the entire team was kind of shit outside of a couple people to start the game. But like when it matters, like he had probably, I know the Braylon threes were pretty crazy, but the ones that Alex hit were just so clutch. So maybe the most crucial shots of the game as far as just in the moment, momentum, what the score was with the exact time. I'm sure if you go and look at the, like win percentage chances affecting statistics and you look at like, oh, his shots probably move the needle the most, which is pretty crazy. I don't know if you saw, but like when that sideline interview that Dan was giving after the game, it was interesting that the very first person he mentioned was Alex, when I think most people, including myself, would probably say Silas, probably the MVP of the game, just his consistent performance and everything. But the fact that Dan even like right away was like, no, Alex, All-American, best player in the conference, yada yada, I thought was pretty telling. Just I think we even underappreciate him sometimes.
Yeah, and I know I do. I'm the guy that always gets accused of it. And it's true. Connor, I think he's really trying to Dan gets these ticks. We all know he pushes things. I think is really all in on he's sick of this kid not getting enough national attention.
Oh, totally.
And he's going to push him down everyone's throat now because they're a 15-1 top 5 team and he doesn't get any national attention. And I think he also thinks that last year gets used against him just because he wasn't Cameron Boozer. His season was his weakest season, but he wasn't bad. I said he was bad at times. He played bad. He had a couple of bad games, but it was a season for 99% of college basketball players. That's a great season. But because of the standard he helped establish, a season that was a normal or a good season for most players got held against him. And now he's having a stupendous season. And in a league where UConn is clearly the best team and he is their best player, and UConn has a history of not getting the Big East Player of the Year, as we've seen the last few years, Dan doesn't want to let that shit happen again. And he also appreciates this kid so much for what he's meant to his life and the way he is appreciated as a coach and what he has won because of this kid. And so Dan is going to pour it all in for this kid now because he's seen how much that Alex Karaban has put in for 4 years here.
And the shots that he hit today were just those were bailout shots. Those were, you don't come close to sniffing overtime or anything if it weren't for him. And I mean, that's the funny part of having a psychotic online coach, which we all love. Also talking, his first line being about, oh, well, apparently, I don't win close games when at this point, he's won back-to-back national championships. Just that it's deranged, but that chip on your shoulder energy is just incredible. And then I'll just finish. Last time I talked, it was just about Mullins and his game-to-game or half-to-half or even play-to-play development. I mean, I was kind of laughing to myself about how ridiculous it was when earlier in the spaces we were like, oh, is he Steph? Is he whatever? I'm like, all right, we all love the team. We all need to settle down a little bit. That's crazy. But if you look back and watch some of those shots, just he's way beyond the arc. He's moving. He's falling in different directions. I mean, it's just crazy stuff. It's not even a catch and shooter or other stuff. I guess that's just this next generation through AAU ball that Steph is, inspired. But I mean, yeah, Jesus Christ. Right. Some of the shots were insane.
Yeah. Obviously he's not Steph Curry, but tonight was like Steph in that it's the window he has is a millisecond and the release has to be quick and you can't think about it. It's just got to be, your form has got to make this work because you haven't got time to side load and no, it's going up now because the other team knows what you are and they are chasing your ass and they're sending big guys out because Providence is a big team and just had the confidence and followed through on it time after time after time, the way that Alex also was in the same situation. You got these two polar opposites, right? One's the 17-year-old and one's the grizzled vet. And they're both doing the same thing, just knocking down 3 after 3 in that late rally like it was nothing. And they're just dead center. This is going in. This is going in. Except for Braylon's first one of OT, which was beautiful. I love
that. Was crazy. And it's also funny because Alex is such even if the ball is moving beforehand, like he's very set, like he's always set. And Braylon was kind of, jumping whichever way when he was shooting, which was really fun to watch. But no, I mean, it's just incredible to see. It was really fun. I didn't, I think he had that one shot at one point during the rally, or maybe it was just in the second half before they really started, where I was like, oh, that was a bad one. I think it just hit the backboard or whatever. But even besides that, again, it's so soft. In the point where that first one he hit an OT where it just bounced around or whatever, it's like, okay, so you don't even actually have to hit the center of the rim because you're that good of a shooter. It's just going to fall in anyway. It was just incredible to watch.
Yeah.
He got a lot of that Jordan Hawkins in him. It was the same thing with Jordan. Just such a quick trigger release flying off those screens, and it's a similar kind of motor. You know what I mean? Where, they both have a little extra added length to them. But they're able to just run and run and run and run and run and run and run, and run guys off of screens and hit shots off of balance. And you guys just pointed it out. I mean, the window that you have to close on a guy like a Mullins or a Hawkins is finite. And getting him rolling is going to be huge for this team. Cause kind of take today out of the equation. The piece that's been missing in this offense has been them getting rolling from three. They can get him rocking and rolling, and they know they can fall back on it. I think that's what's really going to what's going to take this offense to the next level. And it's going to free up a lot of other guys. It's going to free up more 3-point shots for Alex, for Silas, for Solo, for everybody. So, I'm really impressed with him. I still think he's got some work to do defensively. He's got great length. I think he's a little bit probably more physical than people give him credit for. He's just handsy, which is pretty par for the course for freshman defenders. I think he gets
just to say, and then I'll stop. But as you were saying, he's definitely not a finished product, even though we're only going to have him for another 2 months or whatever, defensively and everything. And you can get frustrated when he does whatever. But I was just really impressed when, he was one of the guys before the real rally started. He's diving on the floor. He's doing all that. That really impressed me and really stood out. He's maybe not the greatest defender in the world, but I don't know, to be that gifted offensively, but still be that bought in and being I am on the floor at Providence. I'm doing this and diving for loose balls. I just loved it.
Yeah. And what really impressed me is he had a really bad turnover with about 4 minutes to go. That was in the middle of Providence. UConn had the ball down 7.
I almost thought he was going to get pulled at that point because of that,
I did too.
I was but then he stayed out there and I was oh no, Dan trusts him. And that meant a lot.
It was wild because was it Dan trusts him, or I'm not saying Dan's given up the game, but the game within 40 seconds goes from you have the ball down 7 to you're down 11 with 3 minutes to go in that building with that fan base. Dan left him in and he found his way through it. Even with that, he didn't let that critical turnover become, the thing that broke him. He just built off of it and was huge in overtime. Hit the 2 threes, great defensively after it. You can't ask for a lot more out of an 18-year-old. And I'm going to enjoy the last 2 months I got to watch him. So.
Yeah, just insane from a teenager. And I'll let the next guy roll over, but I'm going to, as you're saying, I'm going to enjoy the next 2 months because he's special.
Yeah, this was his Liam going for 41 at Creighton moment. Unless he decides to do that. Hey, let's have another one. Thanks, Connor. Appreciate
it. Jane Daly, how are you tonight?
I am good. Greetings from an Amtrak train pulling into Trenton. I'm on the way back from Villanova Creighton.
Wow. Yeah. How was your evening?
Good. Very quietly good Big East game. I was really impressed by Creighton. Usually they have the offense and it reminds you of the old Beeline teams, but this is probably the toughest McDermott team I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, Creighton getting the win. The timing was weird. I was correct, Jaden. You did pick the wrong game to go to tonight.
Yeah, I did.
Creighton have a hoot. I mean, you missed you missed something that everybody who was at it should be institutionalized. So congrats on being out of a
Well,
hospital.
I was living vicariously through Mallory.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that Mal had a good night. She is alive. I can confirm, folks. I have proof of life. Creighton goes into the DuPont Pavilion. Everybody has a bad day and gets a 76-72 win, which helps UConn out, as UConn is now the lone unbeaten team in the Big East. Villanova had a 7-point lead with 6 minutes to go. I'm sorry, let me take that back. Villanova had a 10-point lead in the first half. But Creighton, I mean, I didn't see any of it, Jaden, so I'm leaning on you. We were watching the Insane Asylum thing, but, great game in the Pavilion tonight. Excuse me. Just from looking at the box score, it looks like it was another big night for Acaden Lewis. A great night for the league freshman.
He looked really good.
Yeah, he had 20 and 7 tonight in 33 minutes. So, yeah, they didn't get the win tonight, but that kid's going to carry Villanova far. And Creighton continues to be on this ascent over the last couple of weeks. But their first win over somebody
really
doesn't
good.
stink. So. Are they the second best team in the league?
And Sports, the Miami transfer who had your 21.
Yeah, so it's UConn 5-0, Creighton 4-1, St. John's 3-1, St. John's, Nova, and Hall at 3-1. So UConn has a game lead, quarter of the way home here.
We'll take it for now. Yeah, I mean, Creighton might have a case for it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know who the second best team in the league is right now. I
thought it would.
Nobody is exciting me.
Thought it would be Villanova, but then tonight was a question mark.
Was there something specific about tonight that made you question it, other than just obviously they lost? There's it that they just, when they got the big lead early, they couldn't hang on?
They also weren't hitting threes the way they normally do, so the one big part of the Willard offense just wasn't there, and I feel like when the shots aren't falling, it could get ugly for them, so.
Yeah, I see 25 offensive rebounds between the teams in this game. That's
Creighton had 13, and Kevin didn't care much for that.
Yeah, Devin Askew had a brutal night, it looks like.
He did.
So yeah, Villanova got nothing from their bench tonight.
And Lindsay wasn't great either.
Yeah, Villanova got nothing out of the bench. They're not a very deep team. I think Nova's good, but the lack of depth is probably going to be the issue for them. I'm a little surprised he's not using Braden Pierce more, Pierce more, but
he's still really raw. He's
so raw.
He's a minus just being out there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well,
so yeah, it looks like Creighton was able to overcome getting that out of Villanova. Just trying to take a look ahead across the league.
Well, speaking of Creighton, I'll be in Omaha at the end of the month.
Yes, I saw you. You will be at. They're not getting dollar beer night for UConn this year.
Oh wow!
Which surprised me. So yes, Jaden will be live providing game coverage of UConn's return to Creighton, also helping bail Dan Hurley out of jail. Thank you for that. Congratulations to you. Living near New York, you can find a direct flight to Omaha for less than $12,000. So,
Shout out
you at least have
LaGuardia.
options. So what is the LaGuardia? I mean, I know it's got to be direct, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
And then I have the next 3 UConn games after that. DePaul Saturday, Seton Hall Tuesday, and credential approval permitting, Georgetown on the 17th.
Oh, nice. So we'll see you Saturday. This is tremendous.
You will.
And it's not in Gamble, so you don't get to do your James Breeding bullshit.
Thank God.
For those who don't know, Jaden Daly has covered 3 UConn men's games at Gamble Pavilion. James Breeding has officiated all 3 of them.
Stay away.
And you are also to be credited for alerting me to the fact that tonight was the first time John Fanta ever called a Providence loss at the dunk.
Mm-hmm.
What was the total number?
For about 10 years.
What was the total number? Wasn't it like 23 or something?
It was 23 overall. and then the streak ended when they got boat raced by Cooley at Georgetown.
So the two streaks end in the most painful way for their fan base. That's great. The
was,
overall one and the home one.
I think it was 25 or 26 at home. I don't know. I stopped keeping track of the home streak after Cooley destroyed them 2 years ago.
Hey, while you're here, Jade, speaking of Ed Cooley, hot balls. It shouldn't be this hard to turn Georgetown around. It should not be. One for 23 in the second half at DePaul.
1 for 23 is almost impossible.
It's the sort of stat line that's so bad it wouldn't worry me because it's like it's a comment. I said that earlier for something. Like, that's impossible.
I saw that and I was floored.
Yeah.
And that was after I watched Princeton make 16 straight shots to beat 10 on Monday night.
Unreal. Yeah, they're that might not be salvageable. And that team had offense, we thought. They're a mess. They're 1-3 in the league. They've now got Seton Hall, Creighton, UConn, Villanova coming up. I mean, if this is 1-7 in a month, with then the road trip to Providence, a possibly resurgent Providence, that's going to be.
Yeah, I mean they don't have a win against they have one win against the top 100 teams.
Yeah.
Anything else that's really been north of 100 has been tough sledding for them. So I don't know, man. It looks like it's going to be another long year. Right now, Ken Palm has them favored in exactly 2 games the rest of the way.
Is Marquette one of them?
Yes.
Yes. Marquette at home. And the other would be DePaul at home.
Wow. All right, well, I'm going to jump off and let you guys wrap this up. I'll charge my phone a little bit before I get back into New York. Love you guys. I'll see you on Saturday.
I'll see you at Wintrust. Thanks, buddy. Safe travels.
Thank you.
All right. We only have, I think, 2 more. Oh, no, we've only got 1 more to go here. Rake Giley, what do you have for us?
What's going on, fellas? Great. It was funny. We were talking about Creighton maybe being the second best team. I ordered tickets to their game right when they dropped. I was just trying to get a feel of how many sickos are going to be out there with me.
All right, going out to Omaha.
Yes, sir. Already hit Allen Fieldhouse. This is the next one we're checking off.
So getting the whole Midwest covered.
Oh, yeah. We'll be nice and cold.
Rolling through the plains. Rake Giley.
I've eyeballed it for a couple of years. The problem, it's a twofold problem. Like, usually it's a midweek game, so that's out. Now I have a kid, but also it's just that Rake, what is the nearest airport to you?
We're flying out of Bradley Friday, get back Sunday.
Okay.
Just not. The pink out's not going to phase us. It does suck they're not doing the $1 beer night, though.
Yeah, you picked the 1 year to go out there. Yeah. So what's your connection? I mean, you obviously got a connection. See, Omaha, like, it's a nice airport, but it's like flying to Bradley. It's not the easiest, place to get to if you don't want to spend a lot. Like, you planned ahead, so you probably got a decent price on the ticket, but that's the thing. I usually think of this shit like middle of the season. And at that point, a plane ticket's like 600 round trip. And I'm like, we almost never win there. I can pay for diapers.
Yeah. The rivalry is real no matter what. But I think it was like $500 for flight and stay. I ordered it's me and 5 of my buddies. We'll all be out there.
Oh, have a blast.
It
looks like a wild time every time we show up. So.
Yeah, exactly. I always love the pre-games. I was trying to get a feeler on if anybody knew what the motion was out there, but it doesn't seem too hot.
Yeah, my wife's whole family is from Omaha originally. Actually, my wife was born in Omaha.
Oh, you're underselling it.
Yeah. Well,
no.
I am underselling it. Yeah, both my in-laws are Creighton alums. This is not by design. I have to stare at a hideous Creighton.
Did not know that.
all the time. Well, they're big nerds. They're not big into basketball too much, but they're increasingly getting into it. But
what a coincidence.
Yeah, what a coinky dinky. Fairweather fans.
Any places I got to hit out there?
He has
or what?
a Creighton mug in his house. It's disgusting.
I actually, I hit me up via DM. I've actually, one of my wife's cousins just opened a steakhouse in Omaha. I'll give you give you a lowdown on that. And
Yeah, I'd love that,
maybe I
dude,
can
for
hook you up
sure.
with some free steaks. You never know.
Let's
So,
go. I'll roll up in my Cam Spencer uniform
Hey.
and we'll get fucking
Yeah,
juicy.
no, see, he actually has like connections in Omaha. All I would tell you is that place that does the Jello shots for the College World Series, but I don't even know if that's near CHI or.
We were definitely stopping there. That and the Chef Boyardee statue.
There you go. Nice, nice. And
you got to do all the tourist traps in the Midwest. Whenever you're in the middle of nowhere, find the tackiest hobo.
I mean, Kansas City sucks so fucking bad. Omaha can't be worse.
I love Kansas City. I like Kansas City a lot. I didn't do Kansas City the way that I did it the last time we were there. Postradamus was just in the queue. We ended up doing the Negro League Museum, which is amazing, by the way. You got to check that out.
Oh, yeah. I'm pissed I missed that.
Best, greasy spoon small diner I've had in probably.
I love the barbecue. That I will never hate on. Their burn ends, all that shit was phenomenal.
Power and Light District's not bad, but there's some like really good.
That's where we stayed.
Yeah, there's some really good.
And we went to that Xfinity Theater, which seemed cool. It definitely had potential, but it was just dead.
They got a lot of like Bubba Grump Shrimp Factory. It's like a low red Times Square there. But the College Basketball Hall of Fame is there. The World War I Museum's there, but they have some really good hole in the wall bars, in Kansas City. They're actually pretty great. But, the diner is where it's at. That diner. City Diner or whatever it's called.
The only time in my life I was thrilled to give Laz parking $2
Just $10 and you eat like a king. And for a fat ass like me, you can't.
I saw a couple too many Travis Kelce murals. I wanted to get the fuck out of there.
I've never been to a city, in my life that is as taken over by one singular team that plays inside of it than Kansas City is by the Chiefs.
The Royals might as well be from
totally
Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, every other building's got Chief shit on it. It is rampant. I mean, obviously, I haven't been to Green Bay. I'm sure that's worse. But like, forget it. I mean, Chicago with the Cubs, Boston with the Red Sox, New York, any team, like, it's bad. I've never seen, well, maybe Dallas is close, but I've never seen a city as bespeckled with team gear and logos as Kansas City is with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, you'll hear from me about that steakhouse. I appreciate it. Roll skis, boys.
Roll them, Rake. Thank you. And enjoy Omaha. Beautiful and scenic. Make sure you go to that. My favorite bit 2 years ago, even though the guy ended up being a dick, was the Creighton fan who took the picture of the apartment complex that looked like it was the Soviet Union. That was so good.
That's one of the better conference-wide bits of the
That was so good.
That's
like, Jesus, it really did look industrial. Like, I thought Omaha was actually probably low-key a pretty cool city, and then just grain elevator for Soviet fight. Like, no, this is also in Omaha. Okay.
A lot of people talk Omaha up, man. But maybe it's just, people in my life, and I'm just not.
One of these years, Jim Penders is getting there, and you will go.
Oh.
Maybe.
Josh McDonald on curfew.
Big East preseason baseball polls out. UConn was picked first. Can you believe it?
Shocking turn of events.
Can't believe it.
Could imagine. So, all right. Well, this is neat and tidy.
It was tidy.
We're coming up on almost like what tonight was not tidy. The show was neat and tidy, which is unusual for us.
Yeah. Before we go, want to promote, we tweeted out, thanks to the folks at Store Central. They posted the YouTube of our Q&A with Tom Moore from, post game from the Marquette game on Sunday. So if you check out, Store Central's YouTube channel, you can check that out. You can see our beautiful mugs, for those of you sickos, if you thought tonight was disgusting. And it was great to spend time with Coach. Really appreciated that. And, also watching him and Bobby courtside tonight as the game wasn't going well, just knowing that they're in the middle of the tornado of Dan's emotions. But, they got out at the other side of it. And so, yeah, Store Central on YouTube, check out their channel. Please like and subscribe. We're going to be doing more stuff like that. I think we're doing Hotballs. Are we on the books officially for another Q&A with Coach? I think we were talking about it.
Yeah, we're in the works. Going to be doing it again. We're going to try to do a couple of these periodically at the Graduate over the rest of the season, and much more things are coming.
Yeah, the weekend
Creative
games at
content opportunities.
the weekend games at Gamble are where we're going to do some stuff. So hopefully, folks can join us post game for those. Thanks to everybody that came out on Sunday. It meant a lot. Had a lot of fun seeing everybody out there, and I can't believe the Mullins family's travel this week. By the way, it's totally nuts. So stores set Sunday for the Marquette game to watch Braylon. Back home Monday because the younger brothers had a game Monday. They have another game on, back out here for tonight. They flew straight to Providence, went to Braylon's game tonight. They're flying back home because, the younger brothers have a high school game back in Indiana scheduled for Friday. It might get moved because with Indiana in the college football semifinal, the entire state of Indiana is moving high school basketball games now for Indiana football. Folks, we are in another dimension. This is the most impressive thing Kurt Cignetti has ever done. They're moving high school basketball games in Indiana to watch Indiana football. But then they are flying. They were going to do that game Friday and fly back out Saturday because you can't miss DePaul at 12:30 in Hartford, can you? So, shouts to the Mullins for just having an insane travel schedule this week.
Only thing that matters is the money and the miles.
That's right. And we will be
pro wrestling as it does for the Mullins.
Terrace did the full Hulk Hogan set tonight. He did the whole thing. The whole thing. He hulked up in the second half.
A lot of babyface selling in the first half.
Yeah.
Babyface in peril. I made the hot tag.
And we've seen him this kind of game for him before, so it was as formulaic as the Hulk Hogan set in a way.
Yeah. It wasn't. Well, we had some heel cutoff spots in the second half, you know?
Yeah.
It looks like the babyface coming back and then boom, clothesline flat back. No.
The Dan technical felt like a valet getting ejected from ringside.
Yeah. You know, or like getting hit with a weapon on the outside or missing a big charge and running into the ring post. It had it all tonight. Had it all minus a blade job.
Nobody bled in that game somehow. Or vomited, which, you know, so there's progress. Yeah, an incredible night in Providence, and we are on to Saturday. Hartford for DePaul at 12:30. In terms of the space, we'll talk this off air. I've got some mitigating things, so I'm not sure what time we'll go live Saturday, but we will obviously go live Saturday as we wrap up the regular season with our dear friends from Chicago who are on a heater, such as they can be, the 2-3 DePaul Blue Demons. The currently
almost 500, like it's almost like calling them. I mean, they've got a they have a chance.
They can't be in the 4 or 5 game
above 500. They're going to lose to us. And then they got Marquette at home. They got Butler on the road.
Oh God! Speaking of bad,
they got Seton Hall at home. Don't think they're going to win that. But then they got Georgetown and they got Xavier. There's a world where we're going into February with a 500 or above 500 DePaul Blue Demons basketball team.
This is the point where I note that they are favored in one of their remaining 17 conference games. Sorry, 15. But
what would Wednesday be like without DePaul inside of it at the Big East tournament?
See, because if we're honest, the highest they're getting to is 5th, and then they're in the 4-5 game, and that means UConn's going to be in the way of Friday DePaul. I don't want that. I don't want to be that guy. Because you got to kill him.
We're in the way of Friday DePaul, but we will also be in the same session as
the
quarterfinals.
True.
Of the afternoon game against whoever it possibly could be.
I mean, it would. So I know because they would have played on the first night. So if they're in the 4-5 game, Seton Hall, maybe. You're talking even if they were in the 6-11. Well, if they were the 6, they would still. No, because then they would be in the night session.
4-5.
Yeah. They're in the
3-6 and 2-7s night.
Yeah.
1-8 and 4-5s in the afternoon.
Yeah, if it's a 4 or 5 game, so it's DePaul versus Seton Hall, Villanova, maybe St. John's. St. John's last night. Listen, good second half. Butler.
That might be a ship that is taking on some water. shall we say.
Yes, and it crested over a ship that is completely sunk last night. Poor Butler. It's over. It's over. But yeah, St. John's is taking on water. But interesting one for them. They go to Omaha Saturday, and if that goes the way that might go, that will be very interesting. Because let's be upfront. If St. John's drops that game Saturday and UConn does what they need to do, UConn's up 2 games on them. And it's January. So.
Correct. Not a lot of wiggle room.
No,
not a lot of wiggle room.
No, there is not.
All right. Well, I think that's enough of my yapping. We're going to go 10 o'clock on the dot. I mean, we almost went an even Steven 2 hours.
Yeah. I got to rewatch the second half of that game tomorrow, knowing how it ends now, so that my heart isn't.
I need to watch it again. It's midnight. I really want to go to bed, but I have to process that.
I have to check because I have an Apple Watch. So I'll have the vitals. It's because of the way UConn's games have been. Even Florida was close, BYU got close. I can't remember watching a UConn game where my heart was pounding that much. Even the Florida game last year, it wasn't because it was a free hit, right? But the last 3 minutes of that game in OT, I was like, Jesus, I didn't think I had this for this sort of game with this sort of year where it's going well, but because the way they pulled it out, because you knew, it felt live. I never thought the game was over. Partially because I'm a sicko and I know Providence well enough to know they do shit like this. And I don't trust the coach and I trust ours. And I also when the fucking weird looking dudes hitting threes, I'm like, well, that's not sustainable. That's not going to keep up. And it did.
Right.
It never really felt like the game was dead. I was furious with them in the first half, but I didn't feel like they were out of it. So, but man, they pulled one right out of their ass tonight.
They had to stick their head so far up their ass that they found their brain. Somewhere up there.
I think it's a beautiful way to that's a beautiful description of it. I think that's perfect.
What a soliloquy.
Flip that.
All right. All right, folks. Well, we will see everybody on Saturday at the People's Arena in Hartford as the UConn Huskies take on the DePaul Blue Demons at high noon.
It's 12:30
in the Capitol. It's 12:30. It's not high noon. I just want to say high noon really bad.
The game is being played at 12:30 on TNT. Oh, Brian Anderson. It's just like calling the Western Conference Finals. UConn DePaul.
Nothing's better. And then we'll be back at you guys live Saturday night at some point or another which hopefully Hurley Mania's extenuating circumstances allow him come live on the show.
I mean, I can do Saturday night 10ish, 9:30 or 10. Does that work?
No, that's when have we never done the show
that's
at
fair.
9:30?
Look at me. I'm acting as if we're going to do earlier shows now.
We did a show at 6:00, and I don't think anybody believed us.
Yes.
That was one of our lowest rated Spaces episode in real time ever. Yeah, we're never doing that again.
Yeah, we try to do one show at a normal time. No one shows up. We're doing it at 2 a.m. in Kansas. Everybody comes on it.
Yeah,
we know our audience now. We've confirmed all of our suspicions. Thank you.
Staying up till 9:30. We'll drink some beer, say some stupid things, and then break down everything. DePaul Blue Demons. But until then, folks, appreciate everybody hanging out tonight. What a wild win. UConn gets done on the road, proving to 5-0 in the Big East, 15-1 overall. A beautiful 103-98 overtime win over the Providence Friars. We'll see you on Saturday, folks. But until then, you guys know the deal. Keep in touch with yourselves. Good night, everybody.